Technology. We have it all around us. And as parents, we fear it. Because we know that our kids can get exposed to stuff we don't want them to get exposed to. More specifically, we fear the internet and different places that expose them to information that may not be true, may not be accurate. We've had this fear forever. People have been afraid of books, people have been afraid of TV, people have been afraid of movies. All of these different things have been regulated in one way, shape, or form in terms of education. But I love technology. Matter of fact, we really want to use a lot of technology at our school. Now, I know that may scare you. If you give me a minute to make a pitch for it, then I hope that I can change your mind. Because what we do is we try to take somebody who is amazing at what they do and then provide a platform for them to be all over the place, to be able to teach a subject in multiple places. And that's what Khan Academy has done. That's what SAS Pathways has done. That's what a lot of the educational videos that are on YouTube have done. But at the same time, right, we don't want our kids getting into stuff we don't want them to get into. We are very interested in what we call the cognitive diet, right? What is going into the brains of our kids that help them see opportunity and potential in the future, right? The question is, in 20 years, do you think that there's going to be more technology or less? Do you think it's going to give them a competitive advantage to be good at coding and the use of different technology like 3D printers and CNC machines and robots, right? I'm a firm believer that it's going to be a big factor. Now, my personal bias towards technology and education comes from when I was younger. What would happen is I would write my papers, and what would happen is that like I would skip words because I was thinking a little bit faster than I was writing. I didn't realize it until I'd go back to read the paper that I had completely missed different sections that I had thought about writing, and it was infuriating. My hand was not keeping up with as fast as my brain was working. When we got our first computer, which was an Apple computer, I didn't know how to type, but over time my mom taught me how to, and I was able to express myself a lot better. I was able to slow down. I was able to see the grammatical errors that happened as I was typing them. And some people would say that that like took away some of my intelligence, but the reality is it allowed me to express myself much better than I had before. And as I got better at typing, I didn't skip words. I was able to do a lot more and share information with different people and communicate a lot better. Then my grades went up and life was more pleasant for me. I still didn't produce as much content as I would later. In grad school, I ended up getting a talk-to-type software that allowed me to talk to my computer in 14, 15 pages opposed to like maybe the bare minimum that I would have produced before. I always produced the bare minimum because it was difficult to produce that content for me. But when technology met me where I was at, right, I was able to produce so much more. So it really unlocked my potential. That's why I'm a big believer in it. Now, our school is not dependent on technology. We just want to utilize it to capitalize on the best our students can perform. So we want them documenting their day. We want them engaging with technology in different ways, but that doesn't mean that they have to. They could write, they can read, they can do any of the different things on traditional forms of paper, pencil, anything that they want to of that. But we want something that's going to be engaging, that meets them where they're going to be in the future when it comes to a career. Being able to communicate at their highest potential, being able to explore things that they would have never been able to explore so that they feel viscerally connected to it is amazing. Now, I want you to check out this video that I took on my VR. It's just an Oculus Go, so it's not something radical, right? But on Oculus Go, they have so much educational content. Just the other night, I learned how to find the North Star. Pretty amazing, right? It took me just a minute, and it was spellbinding, right? So check out this video, right? As it plays, I'll talk, right? The anatomy, being able to see the heart, being able to see the different limbs of the body and everything else, that's amazing. I stopped this to let it run all the way, but at the end was the brain, which is a personal interest of mine, which is absolutely amazing. And to see it in 3D, to really get connected to it. When could you do that in the real world? You can't do that in the real world unless you were way along in your education, right? And it's a lot messier. So let's also take a look at, exploring, the universe. Look at this solar system. It's amazing. Now, like when I'm standing in it, I can see every different part, right? It's so much cooler than just seeing foam balls connected to some wires, right? So that is amazing. Now, I don't know about you, but I really wasn't that plugged into Anne Frank. I was more interested in World War II, but I watched this video and I got chills. I was standing in Anne Frank's hiding house. That is amazing. I don't know how many of you have ever gone to Anne Frank's house, but I don't know if I ever could have or would have, and yet I did. Like, that's technology. That's amazing. Now, like, there's a difference, right? I could build a house, maybe closer to a shack, with a rock and some lumber, right, that I cut down myself, and put up a little shack that kept me dry. It may take me a month or so. I could completely do it. But if you give me a computer, you give me a team, you give me power tools, and you give me some really good, like, intelligent supervision, I can build an amazing house. Now, we all know this to be true. The great part of the technology in our school system is that it's not the central focus. It's the love of learning that is the focus. Technology just adds more spice to that. And we want school to be able to compete with personal life. This is why kids are bored in school all the time. They go and they watch some teacher draw on a blackboard. Even if that teacher has a smart board, does she know how to use it? Is she accenting technology to where it's competitive at the same level as when they go home and they play video games? I don't think so. They're bored. And schools require kids to have phones so that they can augment the education. Look up stuff, write things down, right? Because they know, right? And this is for middle school and for high school. But, right, like, the use of technology in school is still horrendous. And they're leaning on the thing that we will have as well in our school. Now, here's the illusion, right? We all say that we have our cell phones in case of an emergency, but how often does an emergency happen? We say we want our kids to have a cell phone in case of an emergency, but are they the person that we're going to call in an emergency? No, right? At our school, they're not going to have iPhones. Now, you may think this is a big loss of technology, but the reality is that they're all going to have their own tablets that are Wi-Fi, not internet through, AT&T or Verizon, right? So that their content that they're seeing is all going to be funneled through our Wi-Fi system, so we're able to monitor it. And they're going to use their tablets in ways where we all see what they're doing. There are no dark spaces. We're not sitting there saying that, like, some person is going to be on their tablet to write a paper, but then can't, right? Because we're not going to be using it that way. We want them to be able to use them as educational tools and then get on to the things that they're really interested for, right? And we want those tools to be augmentation of what they're actually doing. So if they engaged in something that they really loved, then they can write a paper about it, right? Send it to a family member in email. And we'll see all that, key logging and their Wi-Fi, what they're getting into. And what we'll do is we'll have technology there for them to use as an incentive, right? We want them to be able to use the Oculus Go, and we want to see what they're doing while they're doing it. And we can do that. We can completely do that. We want them to play games that are educational games through Khan Academy and through SAS Pathways, or be able to watch a YouTube clip that we have pre-approved for different things that they can learn about. We want it to be engaging, and technology is engaging. We want them building a robot. We want them building a 3D printer. We want them being able to design stuff on their computers to be able to print in real life and learn that they can do that. We want them to be able to make clips just like I'm making a clip right now of things that they're interested in, right? And share it with their friends and family, right? But in a responsible way, in a supervised way, right? So we don't have a kid who's misusing his phone at home because he says he's got it in case of emergency and he's also writing a paper, but he's really using it to like text, people he shouldn't be texting or sending pictures he shouldn't be sending. We don't have that because at the school we monitor everything, and when he goes home he won't have a paper to write. He won't have any excuses. Right? You could take the phone when you leave to go out with your friends, but we're going to even teach parents how to monitor the content on that phone. Right? These dark places have not led to good things. But you know what? We had to learn that on our own. No one taught us how to use those phones responsibly. We had to go through that trial and error. We're going to use that power to then teach our kids responsible moderation use of technology, where it's good and where it's not good, right? If you're sitting at home and you're watching YouTube clips and spending all your day consuming the same stuff over and over again, that's not a good cognitive diet. We want the iPads to go with our kids out into nature where they're taking pictures and documenting the stuff that they have seen and then sending that stuff to professors at universities and say, did I discover a new spider? Right? Which I really did. I found a crazy looking spider at my house and I was like, that's amazing. So it can be done, right? We want that to support that experience. We want the technology to support our kids. We're not trying to disillusion them, but make their world more magical and to be able to learn interactively and engaging so that they have a great time and enjoy it socially. We all acknowledge that our phones are a part of us now. And as we've all gotten older, hopefully, right, we've become more responsible with our technology. And so we can pass that learning curve on to our kids. Now, if we shelter our kids from technology, then when they get into middle school and they're having to write papers and they're having to produce content, it's going to be a steep learning curve, because where was their only content or contact with technology? At home. And was it the most positive? No. Right? Like, let us do this in a very positive and supportive environment to where technology can be used in amazing ways, right? To accomplish amazing things. Technology doesn't take over your kids. It accents what they already love. And we sell a love of learning. That's what we're imbibing in our kids. And so please support the use of technology, right? And support us in having faith and giving us a chance to show you what we can do with it, right? To make your child's lives even more engaging and entertaining, to where when they come home, they're excited to share with you what they experienced, and they're less likely to jump on technology because they're enjoying the time that they have with you. And you're not having to worry about homework or tests or projects, right? It was all done in school. And the content that they created was created using technology. Thank you.